All right. Good afternoon, fellow targeted individuals, truth seekers, and all whistleblowers alike. I hope you all are having a very wonderful evening. I hope everything's going well for all of you. Both I send both my love and, as always, my prayers out to every single one of you. And I hope everything's going well, minus the targeting. Now, this video is going to be going over some of the results from my detoxing and some of the methods of which I mentioned before. Now, the method with the whole, baking soda with the water, alkaline type water, the Fiji water and baking soda in your mouth and then leaving that for about a good 20 minutes, that still works. There is another method that's different from that Tony uses, and then, I want to try to find that video. Feel free to look for it yourself, so you'll be able to help others out as well and also help yourself out too. That I believe is more potent than the method I came up with. But either way, the method that I came up with still works regardless. It gets the nano, especially the live nano, out of both your teeth and gums at the same time, including your tongue. This stuff is quite uh, what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile, I want to say. So it can basically get just about anywhere in the body. Um, when I used a while back ago, I was talking about how I was using the frequency for for blood cleanse. I used that for a while. The first time I started using it, I played it as loud as I could stand when I was listening to it with headphones. This is just what I did. I'm not telling anybody else to do it. I'm just basically stating what I did myself. I used that and I could actually feel whatever this nano stuff was. Turns out it was inside my damn heart. So as soon as I was playing that, I played it loud enough. I listened to it long enough for about like 15 minutes, and I felt this stuff just bursting out of my heart. So they do send this nano in your heart to basically mess with it, to do something with it, since that's technically where blood basically gets produced throughout the whole body structure. And I tried the same method several times, and I had the same result. Now it doesn't. I can't. I don't believe it's been happening like that lately, simply because of how many times I've detoxed this stuff out of my system. Once again, because of me playing that frequency vid, the nano was going towards my feet. I believe that it was killing this stuff off, but when they have the when the nano does that and you feel it start to shift, since it's basically a swarm. I believe that's a command that they're giving this stuff out to, for it to basically protect itself. Okay, yes, it's under it's under harm, seeking to get away from that danger so it won't be destroyed. Basically, even if it gets out of the body, it's just as bad because you know how this stuff works. It could work outside the body just as well as inside, considering the way the biofilm works. They spray this stuff outside. It gets basically on everything. It grows over everything. You may not be able to see it, but it's there. If you detox enough, you can feel this stuff coming off. Even using the buckets, if you use that bucket, I guarantee you, you'll feel that stuff off of your skin, off of your legs, off of your feet, even. You'll start to feel that. And not just that being drug off, it's also, it pulling the rest of the nano off out of your system. But you got to do this in sessions, and you got to really balance these sessions out, especially if you're working, because this stuff that method will leave you a bit tired and a bit out of strength after a while, because of this stuff coming off of your nerves, and because of the massive change that's happening. In the end, this is healing you though, but it's to be expected that this will tire you out, draining all of that stuff out of your body. You know that is to be expected, and especially since this stuff has been there so long. As far as the method that I was using with the string, I haven't had the same sensation as before. I don't know if they may have found a loophole around that or whatnot. I don't know, but I haven't had that static effect around my forehead like before. So I don't know if they either found a loophole or this is just a result from me detoxing and getting this stuff out of my system. So I can't really give anybody a straight answer for that. I don't recommend anybody who has high blood pressure to use that method at all. If anything, if you in that situation, it's probably, best to find ways to try to regulate your blood pressure and whatnot. It's but then again, like I'm not a doctor, so I'm not too certain how that plays out. But I do know, like, things that actually do help cleanse the blood, like, what was that? I believe it was no, that's for the brain. It was some type of food that's really good for cleansing the like the bloodstream and everything like that. I just can't recall the name. But if you guys check out the the foods that I find, that the ingredient lookout list, it should be around in some of those videos. I think I found something like that. It shows you many different ways to help clean the bloodstream. So and if I don't have that, I'll probably just do another video on that subject, so a lot of people can find other ways, because like this stuff is it's in the bloodstream, it's under the skin, it's just about everywhere throughout the body structure, but this stuff assimilates alongside your back, alongside the shoulder blades, and on the back of the shoulders, as well as all the way around the neck, and going all the way around, all the way over, around, and over the skull, and all the way up to the face. This as well as just going all the way down past the pelvis region, all the way down the legs, and all the way down to the feet, even along the arms. That's how this stuff assimilates itself. It's basically robotic, micro robotic technology infused with a fungus that allows it to. It's almost like it's like the actual mechanism itself is like hollow, but it gets that strength to be able to do what it's programmed to do when it gets in contact with the fungus. So when that happens, it's like it called when you have the fungus, the nanotech, and then you got the frequencies that are being beamed on you every time. Especially, I swear, I think these phones, dude. My honest opinion, from what I've seen, the dude that one video that guy posted, I cannot recall the name of his channel, but whether he played music, played a video, surfed the net, whatever he did, it was a huge amounts of EMF generated from that phone. So I honestly believe that the phones were basically a huge part in the programming aspect of this mess. Hence why I have anti-radiational stickers on my phone to help suppress that, as well as innate state, as you see as it there as well. They don't charge too much for that app, just just $1. That's about it. It's not too much. I'd say anything that detoxes this this radiation is good. It's good. Now, one thing I will say again, I don't know if this was them messing around with the weaponized systems prior to me using this, but I know for a fact this happened for sure. When I first got the app, I turned it on and I felt a huge amounts of radiation just liberated from my body. It felt like it was actually healing instead of doing harm. Now, when it was back doing harm, I could feel like this pitch that just kept hitting me, like the burns from this radiation that kept happening just kept like hitting, like tit 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 tit, and it was insane. It caused me to blink from several times every now and then because of the sensation. And that's how it was when this whole thing first started. When it first started, my apartment was heated up. I couldn't figure out what it was until I started to actually figure out it was radiation. And it was only because I was able to smell it that it was radiation. And so I started to figure out, I'm trying to find out. And it wasn't until like that altercation that happened when I got assaulted that I started to, I kind of blurted, I didn't mean to, but I blurted a little bit of that out, mentioning the radiation thing in the apartment, right? And the cops, one of them knew what was going on, but he told, the other one didn't. And he basically gave the other one that looked like, don't even get into that. Just leave it alone. And that was, the first instance that I figured that this is something bigger that I didn't even realize about. At that time, I had already since been made the channel. I just didn't, realize it was that much of a problem. I didn't even realize how sinister this was at that time. I had no idea. I had a channel, but I just, all of that happened as a result of me getting evidence that they didn't want me to have. People, that evidence, I'm pretty certain those guys in that car had these weapons in there. That's why the whole reason why I got assaulted that day, because they didn't want me having that evidence. Think about it. If you're a target individual and you catch evidence of these perpetrators with these weapons and weapon systems in their car, and you have recordings of high induced electrical magnetic radiation being streamed through your home and beamed through your home, which is not supposed to be happening. It's one thing if it's coming from it, but all that huge amounts of radiation beaming through it. Even before, man, this whole thing was a setup. Even since the first day I got that apartment, I can tell because they had me up on the top floor, and not just any kind of apartment, but an apartment building that just so happens to be under a storage unit for a whole bunch of metallic equipment such as washers and dryers, all in upstairs. All of that was upstairs. So it was pretty obvious they were using that as a conductor, and that's why the attacks were so severe. But getting back to the topic at hand, as far as the results that I've been feeling, my agility is getting back to what it once was. It's not 100%, but it's getting there. My strength is coming back too. This is, since I've been detoxing the way I have, this is why, there's been a lot of constant manipulation attempts that they have tried, but I've been certain to try to counteract it. It hasn't been an easy process, but I've been doing my damn hardest to take care of that. I still need to use that form, use that recipe, because that's the one thing I have not yet done since I've been off grid. Well, I guess this is as much as off grid as I can get for now, I guess. But anything's better than being in the city. Anything's better than being in the city around all those cell towers, around all those Wi-Fi hotspots like that, and especially around neighbors who are just gonna stab you in the back. Anything's better than that, The problem with that, with a lot of that is, they got a lot of operatives in the city who basically hide amongst the masses, and the people you do see are not. It's it's different, it's very different than you may know. They will basically pay people to go into a place to pay other people to basically gang stalk you and to psyop you, because they don't want their faces seen. They don't want you to identify them as a government agent, because once you do that, the whole operation is screwed over anyway. Always notice that they don't mind you seeing a police. They don't mind you seeing a citizen who's basically harassing you, but these agents will never show their face. They will never do that. And the reason why is because they're too busy doing the other thing, and that's calibration, making sure everything's going in accordance to what it was planned out to be prior to you arrival to wherever you're going. The same thing I mentioned before, you must deprogram yourself from a lot of the stuff that they are doing. Constantly paying attention to what these gang stalkers are doing. I'm telling you, dude, man, these people are programmed, these people are paid off, and they are addicted to money. Most likely consider I wouldn't be surprised that they're hiding the effects of greed on people to cause them to be that money hungry. That's why I think the whole thing with with a lot of the entertainment industry, when they promote, a lot of this mess is involved with the programming. It is. That's one of the reasons why I had stopped listening to rap music and went over to rock music, because, well, it's really nothing wrong with rap, but I'm talking about like the commercialized rap that they mostly endorse and mostly have out there. I started to listen to some of that, and I came to the realization about this. They talk, and it's not every rapper, but quite a lot of them who are well known, and I'm not talking about the ones who are less known. The ones who I'm talking about, I started listening to how the lyrics were sounding, right? And dude, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for people who still listening to that music, but I'm telling you, again, it's not that rap music is bad. There's good rap music out there, but the kind that I was hearing, and it's the kind that often a lot of people hear, the kind that the masses are going for. The, you know, knowing how dialogue is structured, knowing a lot of language arts and both language arts and writing. Judging from if you pay attention to the way everything is phrased out, you'll be able to say these rappers are basically talking crap about the listener. A lot of the things that they're saying when it comes to anything negative is always in it with the word "why owed you" most of the time. So you start to like you're this, you're that, I'm this, and it's just like a big F you. You're nothing, and then I'm more. It's that kind of concept basically. When I hear that, I didn't like that, so eventually I stopped listening to rap after a while, and I haven't listened to it since. There are some really good rappers out there that actually talk about some really good topics and stuff like that of life and everything that's going on, especially the corruption, but they never endorse these types of guys. They never ever do that. They never do it because why? It screws with their dynamic of programming. It prevents the whole programmable message that they want out there for the masses to follow. And the programmable message is to basically, be greedy, be very sexual oriented, and steal, kill, and destroy. Even if it means as a desperate attempt to have a little bit of glimmer into that type of lifestyle. Man, I've seen people do some of the most pettiest of things just to have over something that stupid, and I want no part of that type of life at all. It's not worth it if people are doing such idiotic things. Just, and I'm telling you exactly why they do it. They've been doing a lot of this dumb stuff, and this is very stupid, by the way, just to show it off and to get opinions from people who they do know and people that they don't know. Okay? Not just that, they don't understand the concepts of people of thoughts in general. First off, a person could say the complete opposite of what they think. They can. And that's everybody. They never take that in consideration. This whole thing of attention seeking has really been a big problem of late. It really has. It's been a big problem with dealing with the females and the guys. A huge problem. And that's why we see all this greed. That's why we see in all of these riots that are happening, all this looting, all of this all this death in the streets, all of this stuff that's happening. These people do this just to basically wear something off and get opinions of the people around them. It's attention seeking, man. And it makes you wonder, like, why are people so obsessed with attention? Why? I'm a TI. I don't want all that damn attention. I believe every TI will feel the same way. We get enough damn attention being gang stalked. Too much, in fact. To where, and I'm telling you, a lot of famous people will actually tell you this. If they had it their way, they would rather have all that money and no fame. No fame at all. Like none. People who see that think it's not a good thing. I'm telling you, it's not. If you get yourself in a position to where like you're very well liked and very well admired by a huge amount of the masses, the corrupt organization is going to be having its eye on you and seeing any way of any means how they can use you to their advantage to manipulate the people. This has been happening for so long, and guess what? A lot of these famous people go right along with it. Do you not? And I don't care what type of fame it is. It could be sports, it could be movies, it could be music. Okay, it could be any of that. It could be any of that. Even if you're developing video games, even if you're developing books, it doesn't matter. It does not matter at all, not even in the slightest bit. If you see any one of these individuals throwing up satanic symbolisms, and this has been happening in the sports, this has been happening in both the music, and a lot of other things too. It's been a lot of this, not just that, but also television series and the movies. It's been happening quite a lot. You know they're manipulating that in some way, shape, or form. You already know they're manipulating the media. You already know, but they're manipulating the TV, which is why I haven't watched that in so long, especially after watching the documentary Out of Shadows, finding out that the government has been putting subliminal messages out through that to program people. I haven't watched TV since. I mean, I'll check in on the things that are going on from time to time just to figure out, what's up, but that's about it. But a lot of the structured language that's in the today's rap industry makes absolutely no sense. They say what's up, meaning and the meaning for that is supposed to be like what's going on. But let's be honest, technically that's a question, and you're asking what's above. You see the misconception there? The whole damn thing is just a retarded scam. It really is. They basically trick you into saying idiotic things, trying to give you the impression that it's cool to say this. It's cool to act like this. It's cool to be um ignorant. Basically, they're trying to basically bask in ignorance. They're trying to say that ignorance is actually an upgrade from who you usually are. You don't ever want to go away from who you usually are, because that's when you basically convert yourself into the program that they basically trying to get you in, which they have been trying with everybody, by the way. It starts up it starts off at a very young age when you first go into school. Your first day in the school, the programming is already set out. Even when you coming out of the doctor's office, I believe they plan on who they gonna actually experiment this crap on, prior to you both being married and off your blood type. You don't even know any of this crap is going down when you're in school, or just have you think you're just living your life and everything is fine. You have nothing to worry about. You would be wrong about that, man. Not knowing what's really going on out there is a very terrifying thing, because they could poison you. You wouldn't know about it. They could do just about anything, and you would have absolutely no idea it was happening to you until it gets to the point to where you're ready to snap out of it. A lot of fellow TIs told me that people tend to, people who are really been programmed since they were children, they tend to snap out of it into, right around when they hit the 30s. And around this time, around that, actually, no, around that time is when, they start to get a lot of the overt gang stalking, which in terms happened to me. Started, questioning a lot of stuff that was going on. I was making, again, I didn't freaking upload anything. I didn't do jack crap anything. I was basically speaking up about the corruption that was going on within the communities of, people who basically have the same skin tone as me. And it just didn't make any sense of what was going on, right? I'm like, I'm seeing, I see this crap, I see it all for what it really is, and it's just a huge scam. All of it is. Basically, they use peer pressure as a scam tactic to basically impressionate people to buying the Jordans, buying the Nikes, buying all of these things, all of these brands that belong to who? These people who have way too much money than they know what to do with. And it's no wonder why they basically are making so much money. They have inner structures that is programming impressionable people at a very impressionable age to do these things. And they're using technology to to basically assist these tactics. They have sent goons into the schools to basically try to hire kids at a very young age to try to, get into the whole gangbang thing. I've had two family members who I've personally heard from their parents tell me, I'm not going to mention who it is, but tell me that this happened on different sides of my family too. Twice this has happened. They try to recruit people. They try to recruit kids into this mess. The same messed up stuff that gets them killed, that gets them into drugs, that gets them into the stuff that really causes problems in their lives in the long run. Some people want to blame the pusher. Well, guess what? The pusher, you may think that it's the seller that's the pusher. You'd be wrong. The pusher is the person who's paying the people to smuggle that stuff in here, to traffic that stuff back into into the city walls and all that type of stuff, man. That's the problem. I haven't smoked a cigarette in so long. And I have no desires to smoke another one at all, ever. As far as the things that I drink, I don't even drink soda anymore. Oh, it's part of my detoxing. I only drink nothing more than water and tea. That's it. Just completely draining this stuff out of my system, making sure I don't consume anything with high fructose corn syrup in it, making sure I do not consume any of the stuff that they use to try to program people. I don't want to ever eat fast food ever again. I mean, I only settle for just certain places and certain things. That's about it. But that something like that is just purely temporary. It's not something I'm gonna do every day. I don't trust ever eating any of the meats and stuff that they got in these fast food joints. For the most part, there's a lot of speculation in regards to where this stuff is coming from and what they have been putting in there. And when you see the control structure on how massive and bad it is, like remember that incident with that woman at the McDonald's over the chicken nuggets? Man, dude, there's so much that's messed up out there. Not to mention the Super Bowl incident, and they were caught red-handed with this. I don't remember what Super Bowl it was, but I'm just grateful to God I've never went to one. The people, um, I can't remember what Super Bowl it was, but the people who were going there had no idea what the schemes that were going on for this particular one. And what had happened was what they did was they didn't want to pay for prime meats, actual meats like from actual cattle, actual actual type of healthy animals, right? Instead, they wanted to pay for rat meat. You know, for greed. It was for greed. This is why it's so much of a damn problem. So the people, this got found out. People started seeing where this was going, where it was coming to. Also, I don't ever recommend anybody to eat from KFC. And this is what I'm getting at. Like, dude, there was a worker who basically recorded the inside of that and told everybody what they were doing. They were basically preheating stuff that was like, recooking food that was like several weeks old, man. Same thing was with the macaroni. Same thing was with the mac and cheese. And same thing was for the chicken. I don't know if that's true or not, but if you are if you're a targeted individual and you've seen the crap I've seen, most T guys I've had talked to don't even eat from fast food joints, dude. They don't, because they know that first off, you don't know, as far as the people who are cooking your food, you don't know what the hell they're doing. And plus, the job is already miserable. They probably are gonna get off from fucking with somebody. You cannot, and this is why another thing, like, if you hate your job, why fucking work there? Why? Just why? Why do that to yourself? And then you want to take it out on other people? Are you serious? But you know what? I kind of figured out why they would try to get a job like from such a place. They want that manager status on their resume. That's why I believe they do it. They do it long enough until they feel like they can actually get that manager status. And once they got enough experience in that, then they can take that manager status into other networks of employment. That's what I believe that is. And since, fast food joints seems to be open around statewide, it seems like a logical place to get it. So, I mean, I guess I can understand that. But is it really for that decision, or is it for something else? Makes you wonder. Some people say the pay is great. I don't think working around fast food, smelling like French fries, is just an ideal job for anybody. I mean, if a person's proud of their job, I mean, hey, more power to you. But I never ever was interested in that kind of work. I just didn't see it. The way I saw from that is, what, there had to been a lot of drama from that, not just from the some of the customers, but also from the employees. You think I'm joking? Dude, there was a guy who basically leaked the counter and grabbed chicken because the orders got, mixed up. He leaked the counter, dug his finger, and all that chicken they cooked, all those biscuits in the chicken tenders, all that, man. at that point they couldn't sell any of that, and they had to, dump it all out and cook more. Whether or not they're gonna, they were able to charge that guy, if he paid with credit card, then they're just gonna charge him for the supplies that was basically messed up. And since it's all on camera, well, even if there was a mistake, there's no reason for him to do that. You think it gets that bad? You want to know how bad people are really programmed? Look at the whole Rick and Morty situation that happened with the chicken McNugget sauce. People were just showing up there, just freaking out. You think that's bad enough? And I think another TI would agree with me that I think this lady may have been. I think she was programmed or something, dude, or she was on something. I don't know, but remember that lady who basically went and was basically showed up at that McDonald's drive-through all aggressive over chicken McNuggets and even broke their window. Another prime example. And it's so sad too, man. It really is. This whole grid is just programming people, getting themselves in trouble. And truth be told, most of these people probably don't want nothing to do with trouble. But you know what they say, how the old saying goes, trouble loves company. And I found people out there who basically intentionally look for trouble. No joke. I've actually ran into people who intentionally look for trouble. And I couldn't figure out why. I just couldn't figure out. And I figured one thing out is that you can't be around people like that because they, the trouble they go out and seek, it comes back to deal with you. And that's what happened with some of my other family because they were dealing with people who started showing up at my, at my family's house who didn't want nothing to do with those kinds of people. But because of the, the whole connection, that's what brought them there. So this is another problem that leads into some of these, when it comes to this whole gang banging crap that goes on, and this whole you don't even have to be gang banging to cause a shootout, dude. It could be a scenario to where like a power struggle, not struggle, but a power struggle over territory for drug selling or whatever, and that's another recipe for disaster. It is. It really is. Next thing you know, by the way, I don't even agree with marijuana being illegal at all. I don't. There's really nothing wrong with that. Cocaine, that's another matter. But at the same time, remember they create a problem and they come up with a bogus ass solution to basically cover for what their real intentions are. And I say this. The plant that they use to make cocaine has a lot of healing methods for it, a lot, and you'd be surprised at how many they are. There's even a tea out there that they used for that. I believe they call it like coca tea. If you research that, you will start to see a lot of the health nutrition facts and a lot of the good benefits that stuff has. Understand this one simple thing. They turned something that was very good into a drug in order to get rid of it and keep it from the people, in order to get it illegal. That's the whole point. They don't want you having something good. If it's something truly good out there that interferes with the structural things that they that are out there, they're going to come up with some crummy excuse to get rid of it because they don't want the people to have access to it. So you really got to start questioning a lot of the things that they have made illegal out there. Crystal meth, I don't think there's nothing good coming from that. All those other types of drugs out there, I don't believe any of that is good for anybody. But the situation with marijuana and cocaine alone is bad. But the plant that that they use to make that, there's nothing. The plant, it has a lot of healing properties. So it becomes an issue when if you want the plants for healing properties, but then again you got people looking to basically turn it into drugs, which is a problem. But marijuana, just really shouldn't be anything wrong with that except that synthetic crap. And once again, that's what I'm saying when they basically try to turn something that has good benefits to it into something really bad. You see, original marijuana is not going to kill you, dude. But that synthetic crap that they created, that probably will. It's crazy, man. They just do all of this stuff, and it's in regards to this because there's so much greed out there, because there's so much selfishness out there. It has caused so many heartaches for so many people. Somebody has been lost as a result from all this madness that's going on. But there's no way that God's gonna let this stuff go on. There's just no way it's gonna be allowed to go on at all. We all gotta repent for our sins, though. We all do. Always keep that armor of God on as best as you can, and always fight the good fight as much as you can as well. It's not easy. Believe me, I know. Even in your sleep, they try to program you. Even when you're awake, they're still trying to program you. Constantly going in shifts, bombarding you with frequencies, covertly drugging you, psyoping you, gaslighting you, gang stalking you. All of these things that are happening and try to get you to feel the sense of that you're alone out there. I'm here to tell you you're not alone. There are millions of us out there who are going through the same thing as you're going through. Don't ever let them, get you to feel that you're alone, because you're not. There are other people who are going through this just as well as you are. The one thing that this organization really doesn't like is the fact that the internet cannot be controlled. They try to control it, but let's be honest here, it's not entirely possible for them to control the net. They try to take something down, they try to censor something when it comes to really insightful information that's basically showing, the actual operation that's going on in their inner operations that they don't want people to see. People just basically make a new page, make a new account, and talk about it there, continuing to spread the knowledge to all as best they can, to the best of their abilities. They even go as far as paying people a little hush money. No amount of money is worth my soul. No amount of money is worth anybody's soul at all. None. There's a good reason why they call money the root of all evil. And it's because if you allow it to, it can bring the worst out of you. It really can. I know one thing though. I feel bad for people who did bring family, had a newborn into these times and they had absolutely no idea this stuff is going on. But I don't ever plan on, bringing my offspring into a world like this. I would never do that to them. I would never forgive myself for doing something like that. It's different if I didn't know that all this madness was going on, the programming and all of this stuff. It would be different, But I'm really grateful that I do know. I wish this wasn't happening at all, but I'm very grateful to know that this is going on, because then I don't have to, I don't have to bring a new life into this world only for them to suffer the same way I've suffered and the same way other people have suffered, And it's a shame that that times are like this. It really is. It shouldn't have to be like this at all. It really shouldn't. But these truly are the end times we're in. It really is. All the signs line up, but remember, there is always hope at the end of that tunnel. Hope is there. You just have to be strong to basically last long enough to be able to grasp it. Never give up. And always remember, you're not alone out there. There are other people who are well aware of this organization of what they're doing. There are plenty of people who know what's going on, even if some of them are silent. But remember, always remember this. You're never alone out there. You don't even just have God out there. There are others just like you, just like me, who are suffering at the hands of this organization, who are fighting for both, to liberate and for the freedoms of many TIs around the globe. Many. It's not an easy process, It's not an easy task either. But it's a fight that I have faith in that we're definitely going to win, that we're definitely going to prevail, and we're definitely going to succeed. I have no doubts in my mind about that. But again, there's a lot. You must always remember there's a lot of greed out there, a lot of corruption, and a lot of deception too. Always be mindful of that. Be careful of your surroundings and the people you involve yourself with. It doesn't mean to, just immediately distrust people, because remember, that's part of the program too. They want you to just think everybody around you is a perp. And here's an example for that. They bombard you with color harassment, right? They bombard you with symbolic gestures of either body movement or body structure of a certain thing that they're doing, and that they're perpetuating each time in your presence as you go out. People, that's a script for programming. They want you to be, viewing. They're basically doing that to promote negativity constantly. Each time you see them, they always do it, right? Each time you see them, you always react, right? You got to stop reacting to what they're doing. You must stop that if you wish to break yourself and unplug yourself from the grid. You have to use EDMR. You can look that up. That's a method that will help you out a lot. There's EDMR. As for the I can't remember what this actually did, but I believe it changes your it changes something about your frequency to make it more difficult for them to basically try to program you and mess with you. And it was using a random number generator. Use that. You can basically get it in an app. You do not have to pay for no machine to do it. There's plenty of free software that does this that you can use. Basically, that also screws with their multi-billion technology. Also, the game that I was talking about before, multitasking, just like Brian 2 was talking about, multitasking also helps defeat the technology as well. Raising your vibration, yet another useful method. Now, as far as the physical aspect of this, detoxing with an anti-nano bucket is one of the best things you could do. The recipe that I've actually shared with you all, that's another thing that's been very useful in dealing with this stuff. As well as the Rife belt that I made. I still got some testing to do with that, as well as some more build work that needs to go into it, because I need to build some type of containment vessel for the actual speaker systems in order to basically increase its potency on how it works, and to also figure out something to do with the radiation. It's good, but the problem is that radiation that's coming out of it. But also, this is why I put the anti-radiational stickers on the end of each speaker. But again, if I want to increase the potency of the output of these speakers, I have to have some kind of containment unit around that. So that's another thing I'm going to basically be looking in on working on too. What else? What other methods? Rife frequencies of many different methods. The type of rife frequencies that deal with removing. There's rife frequencies that remove radiation from your cells. There's rife frequencies that can clean the bloodstream. Binaural beats is another method you can use to also help yourself out with this stuff on deprogramming yourself from a lot of this mess that's going on as well. Aloe vera plants, if they're basically cooking you in your home, get yourself some aloe vera plants. Those will absorb the radiation that they're beaming into your home, allowing the temperature to basically normalize so you're not being cooked. Now, as far as the things that you do not use, I've mentioned this before. I don't care what kind of health care product it is, whether it's shampoo, conditioner, or soap. Do not use any of that. None of that. Just use either borax or some baking soda. That's all you need to wash up with. That's all you need to use to even brush your teeth with. That's about it. Not borax though. Don't you? I'm not telling you to put that in your mouth. So no, don't do that. But there is a bit of mixed opinions about either opinions or statements about this. Some people are saying that it's not what other people are what the industry is trying to make it sound like, and it actually is safe for for consumption. But at the same time, that's a topic that you got to do the research on. I'm not telling you to consume it. I'm not telling you to eat it. I'm just saying that from the research I've done, there's a lot of mixed statements about that. A lot of mixed ones, considering that this stuff does get it out of the systems. Now remember that look out for Charlie. He mentioned that you can, you actually can, and I think it was you actually could consume not too much, but like the what was it, the what the heck was that, the Epsom salts, was that it? I think that was the Epsom salts. You could like put some in your drinking water or something. Because I tested that out, but I only put like a little bit in there, not too much. But like if you really want to detox, you got to put a lot of that stuff in your bath water, dude. A lot. I'm also thinking about something else too. Because like even if you wash up in bath water or shower, like there's still a lot of heavy metals coming from the piping system. So I'm wondering, what if somebody was to invent basically a filter, right? For that, to where it's the filter is like magnetized. It's a magnetized filter on the faucet of whatever you're using, right? And it's basically it has like several sections too. It has several filter sections that are all magnetized. So as the water's going through the tube and the the whole filter and all that, it's just filtering out all of those heavy metals out of the water, all of it. I think that would be. I don't know if maybe someone possibly already invented that. I do not know. I don't know. But another problem that a lot of TIs are facing is the water that you're drinking. Either if it's out of the faucet or something else, or even if you just taking a bath out of it. That's another problem, and because you got to understand the skin is basically and it's very unfortunate for a lot of us because the skin is technically a an organ, and whatever you basically put on it, your skin absorbs it, especially with the pores. Now then, there is a filter. I'm not gonna jerk you. I'm not gonna jerk you around on the price, but they do charge a pretty penny for that. They charge a lot of money for that. It actually puts a lot of it brings out more of the alkaline into the water, and it filters a lot of the junk out of the water. That includes the what was that? The fluoridation that they put in that water too. It clears all of that out. So again, whatever water, when it comes to detoxing, you want to consume water with iodine in it. You want to use water that is you don't ever want to drink water out of the faucet. You don't ever want to drink any kind of water like that because it's going to have heavy metals in it. You don't even want to eat anything out of a canned good because, well, heavy metals. These heavy metals basically help induce the tax onto you, and it helps worsen the effects of the energy torture that's going on. When I started taking tablets that basically detox this stuff, I don't recommend people taking any kind of thing in a pill form. I believe using the natural source that grows straight out of the ground is always the best choice. It's always the best choice to go for, especially if you're growing it yourself, because then you could just have, you could just regrow it. But it depends on where you're at. If you're in an apartment complex, well, I don't know what to say about that, but if you like you're living off the land, you're growing your own food and all that, that's basically the best way to go. But if you do start growing your own food off the land, you're going to want to get a greenhouse to protect it from the nanoparticles. If you're too close to the cities, make sure you get yourself a greenhouse so you can protect it from the the nanoparticles, especially one that you can lock up, because these goons, knowing them, they may do the same crap that they were doing with the whole with the whole Monsanto scam, when they're basically technically covertly injecting the gene code into these plants. They'll send a goon out there to do that. You won't even know that it's happened until it's already been done. In fact, even when it's already been done, you still wouldn't be able to tell the difference. unless you look at it under a microscope. And even then, you still got to know what you're looking for, too. Wow. How long has this video been going on? And wow, we are hitting 50 minutes there. Awesome. Very awesome. I think I'm going to end the video there. I don't really want to dive too far into stuff I've already talked about, my detoxing endeavors and what's going on with that. So far, I'm starting to feel a whole lot better, but, as I'm detoxing this stuff out, once again, they have been hitting me with a lot of manipulations and all this crap at night. In case, was one thing I still wanted to mention. Zacchaeus mentioned something about the pineal gland, and that you're supposed to, if you're sleeping, make sure all your lights are off. Now I can't recall what exactly he was talking about, but it had something to do with either healing it or stimulating it, something. Now, why am I mentioning this? Well, simple, because as you most likely all have noticed, when it comes to these temperature checks or whatever with these guns that they're basically beaming at people's heads, think about it. The reason why they're basically aiming at the head is to basically hit your pineal gland with it. They're trying to prevent your pineal gland from healing. Basically, is what they're doing. We got people out there who are so ignorant, so programmed that they don't even know what they're doing is harming people. And some of them do, but they have absolutely no problem with following it. They have no problem at all. None. There are people in the hospitals who are being paid $1,000 for the crap that they're doing, and it's sickening that they're parading around in these videos like being called heroes. Dude, they are allowing people to die, and there are people who are leaving these firms and these hospitals trying to speak up and actually speak out about this, that this is happening. They had absolutely no idea that they were around people who were capable of this type of behavior. They have absolutely no idea. None. They didn't know. And you see, all of this fits into the programming. It's not your fault that you are programmed, but it's it is your obligation to basically break yourself free from that programming as best as you can. I'm gonna continue doing the best I can, to give good advice as much as I can to other fellow TS. But remember this: they're trying to basically program me as much as they're trying to program you. They're trying to poison me and basically try to get me back plugged into the system as much as they're trying to do that to you. They're doing this to all of us as best as they can. And the people who do this, who are comfortable with this stuff, dude, they're probably long gone. They're probably long gone. It's just like the movie Attack of the Body Snatchers. If you saw, I'm warning you. Cut the video off here if you don't want me to spoil this movie for you. But if you watched all the way to the end and you watched the entire movie, you start to see that the aliens were basically, snatching up people's bodies. They were basically, playing off as these people. After they did whatever they did, they assimilated themselves into the bodies of these humans, and they took it over. You could easily tell that the person, was an alien because of the screech they would give off in the presence of an actual, human who wasn't assimilated. And it's a very iconic scream, too. At the end of the movie, basically what happened, there were only 2 people who survived. Or so the woman who also survived thought. She basically, they split off at some point because they had no choice. She seen him in broad daylight, thinking that, he wasn't assimilated. She walked up to him, tapped him on the shoulder, trying to figure out what's going on. The minute she did that, she made a huge mistake because he turned right around, he pointed, and he screamed, giving off that alert, that eerie, disturbing alert to the others who were already assimilated. I swear, some of the stuff I've seen, it just feels way too familiar to that. And it's almost like we really are in a zombie apocalypse with the COVID idiots out there. But anyway, that's all I'm going to discuss and talk about for this evening. I hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. As always, minus the targeting. Stay safe, stay strong out there.